So today I'm in my corner at home and finishing the tasting that I didn't finish yesterday. And I just wanted to show you and share with you a little bit of how I proceed. So basically, I've got my glass, I've got a little sample, and it's kind of cold, huh? That's why I've got a sweater. And still have the hat, the cap, and glasses, of course. And for example, this wine is in the category of the Cabernet Sauvignon, $50 and higher. It costs actually a lot of money, but the way I proceed is basically like any kind of sommelier, I will say, or any kind of wine buyer. Basically, you start to smell, and I already wrote actually what I thought about this wine, but I'm going to repeat to you. I'm going to read it to you just to share with you my experience on this wine. So the first nose, on the nose, you have the red and blackberry. You have some whetstone. You have some mint. You have some earth, some herbal scents as well. So you have to remember that it's basically a Cabernet Sauvignon that is in the category of $50 US dollar and higher. So we're talking about like something that should blow your mind. Basically, when you go to a retail and you want to spend like $50 into a wine, this is definitely something that you want to have the wow factor. You want to drink the wine and you want to be like, wow, you know. So you want to smell the wine. And on the nose, as I was saying, you have the red and black fruit. You have some earth. You have some spice, some mint. There's some even some kind of black pepper into it, almost like a slightly vegetal, leafy type of touch to it, which I don't mind actually. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon. It's normal, and as long as it is integrated and as long as it is not too green or too vegetal, I think it's actually really good. And as long as it is integrated with the rest of the components, like the fruit and the spice, the earth, even the slight woody note to it, because you still have the components actually from the barrel aging, which are coming there. As long as all of this is integrated and it's harmonious and it's pleasant to smell, then to me it is a bonus. It is like, okay, this wine, just on the smell, just on the nose, it's definitely something that I would love to drink, and I would love, and I'm interested actually to actually taste it, because sometimes you taste a wine and you're like, I hate this wine, I don't want to taste it no more. And sometimes you just smell the wine and you're just like, wow, you know, I really want to actually taste this wine because this smell is fantastic, you know. So in this particular case, in this particular Cab Sauv, actually on the $50 and higher, this is actually a 2017 vintage. I do not know the region. I do not know where the wine is from. I'm just judging the wine as it is. And this little video that I'm doing right there is to really show you and to really demonstrate that the AIWC, the Asian International Wine Competition that I'm a judge for this weekend, and that I'm judging those wines in those little samples. It's something very serious, you know. It's especially for a sommelier like me, and especially for a wine buyer like me. It's definitely the chance to be able to judge the wine for what it is without knowing where it's coming from, only knowing the vintage, only knowing the price point, and so basically judging the wine on the quality price ratio. And this is what I was trying to explain yesterday in my video, and this is what I'm going through. This is the reasoning in my mind. So basically, on the nose, fantastic so far. I really love it. It's very expressive. And on the palate, so you really have to take the time actually to taste the wine, to put it into your mouth, into your gum, to let it coat your palate. It's very important for the wine to have the time to really express itself through your taste bud, through your gum, through your all of the components of your palate actually must be awake and aware of every single details when you actually put it through here, and when you actually absorb some air actually to aerate it. So you basically aerate it in glass actually by doing this, but you aerate it with your mouth as well, with this kind of puckering mouth when you absorb the air actually while you're tasting. And once you actually spit out, you can swallow, of course, but I wouldn't recommend it when you have like so many wine to taste. So you spit it out, and basically you the way I judge the wine myself, and not everybody is the same, and not everybody tastes the same. So I respect every single way of tasting. My personal way of tasting is basically through the smell first, as I was saying, and then when you put it into the palate, your mind has to work like a kind of a computer, acting on defining the different kind of spot, the different details of the wine from the very beginning, from the attack to the finish. And this is super, super important, because as a sommelier and as a wine buyer, I don't necessarily search for, I would say, the good component. I'm looking for the bad component. I'm taking the wine on the very negative notes, in the sense that instead of saying what are the good things into this wine, I'm saying to myself, what are the flaws? What are the bad things into this wine? And so my mind and my reasoning and my way of reflecting the way my taste bud works is more about where are the flows, where can I find the flows, where is there something bad about the acidity, is there something bad about the tannin, are they too astringent, are they too present, are they not integrated enough? Same for the acidity. Is the acidity actually balancing the whole fruit and tannin, or is it actually bringing freshness, or is it actually a combination of both, or is it actually too acidic, so it's not going to be nice and it's not integrated? Are the tannin actually ripe enough to even if they are astringent, are they ripe enough, or are they too green, are they too bitter? Is the alcohol actually integrated enough? You see, for me, that's my view, that's my point of view as a sommelier during the tasting, is what are the flows. And the basically it's kind of strange, but the more flows I found, the more I talk about the wine. The less flow I found, the less I talk about the wine. Meaning that the wow factor, usually for a wine buyer or for a sommelier like me, the wow factor is usually generated by this speechless, not able to find a word to put on the quality of the wine, because the wine is so good, so you're like, wow, it's just like the wow factor. But to me as a sommelier, when I buy, and as a wine buyer, I'm always looking for the flows. Is it good? Is it not good? Is it balanced? Is it harmonious? Is it integrated? Is it where are the flows? If I don't find any flows, then my mind switched, and I start to actually work into what are the qualities of the wine. This wine is like this, the nose is like this, the palate is like this, it's expanding nicely, it's got a good balance. And that's basically what wine tasting is. For me, I'm looking for the flows. I'm start on a bad note, I'm saying this wine is going to be bad. But then I'm surprised. So I lower my expectation, and basically I try to work on bringing them higher. And if the wine is good, then there's no point to bring them higher, because they're already high. I'm like, wow, this wine is super good. I want more. I want another glass. That's basically what it is. At the end of the day, when you taste a wine, you buy a wine, the only thing you want is basically have the reaction, I want to drink another glass. I want another glass of this. And if the price point ratio, if the quality ratio, the quality price ratio is actually good, then that's even better. Well, in that case, that specific Cabernet Sauvignon is about $200 US retail, which is really expensive, and not necessarily everybody has the money to go with it. Some $200 Cabernet Sauvignon are disgusting. I will say it as it is. I'm very honest with my taste. Meaning, if I don't like the wine, if the wine is not well made, it is not good. It's not because it costs $200 US that suddenly you have to like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it, and that's fine. There's a lot of wine out there that are really, really bad, and you have to tell the people, especially your customer, especially the consumer, especially the buyers, the people that come into your store, the people that come into your restaurant, the people that come into your cellar. You have to let them know. I mean, obviously for you, you're not buying any bad wine, but if you are at a tasting like this one, and you're tasting a $200 Cabernet Sauvignon from 2017 vintage, you don't know where it's from, you don't know the region, you don't know anything about it, but just by the taste, you can actually define that it's basically a disgusting wine, then say it. It's a disgusting wine. It's not because it costs like $200 that it's not going to be disgusting, or that it's not going to, it's not because it costs $200 that it's going to be well made as well. There's a lot of wineries out there that are very, very, very expensive, and their wine is not that great. It's so, it's not necessarily very good. So don't be afraid to actually, don't be afraid by the price. Don't be afraid by the brand. It's not because it's, as I always say, in my 30 years career as a sommelier and as a wine buyer, I always say something. I love Petrus, and I'm a big fan of Petrus. I've been tasting Petrus all of my life, and I've been opening bottles and serving bottles and trying and even drinking Petrus all of my life. And I love Petrus. But when a Petrus is bad, a Petrus is bad. It doesn't matter that it costs like, I don't know, like 5,000 or 10,000 euros a bottle or something. Nobody cares. If it's not that good, it's not that good. Whether it's actually Petrus or Cheval Blanc or Ozon on the right bank, or whether on the other bank it's actually Latour or Lafite or Margaux or Mouton, or I wouldn't speak about Aubryon because Aubryon is my favorite and everybody knows that. But about the other four, sometimes when the wine is not good, the wine is not good. No matter the price, no matter the brand, no matter where it's come from, no matter its history, no matter its historical achievement. It's when a wine is bad, the wine is bad. This one is actually pretty good, actually, for $200, $200 US dollar type of wine. Will I drink it? Do I want to drink it? Yes. Will I buy it at this price? I don't have necessarily the funds, and I don't have the finance actually to buy, like $200 US dollar type of wine, but if I had the chance, would I buy it? Yeah, definitely I will buy it. But actually right now I can't. So I will rather buy actually something around like maybe like 35 or 50 or $75 really maximum US. $200 is a bit high for me, but at this price, I think for $200, it's definitely delivering a lot of things. It's very complex, it's very rich, it's very balanced, it's very harmonious, and I really love it. Now, to tell you the truth, amongst those Cabernet, if I look at my notes, actually it's right there. I don't remember all of the wine that I tasted, but I just tasted actually a Cabernet Sauvignon just before that was costing like 32 US dollar, and this one actually really blew me away because it was very young, and it showed all of the good potential and even the potential to age, which I didn't find necessarily in that bottle actually at 200 US dollar. But that particular bottle at 32 US dollar, which was a different vintage. I think it was a 2018 or 2017 or 2019. But anyway, it was showing fantastically good. And when I taste a wine like this, as a wine buyer, whether I'm a sommelier or whether I'm working into a retail store, I'm like, I definitely want to have a wine like this on the shelf. So for me, in terms of the award that I could give in the Asian International Wine Competition, a wine like this, 32 US dollar, fantastically good, potential aging, super harmonious and balanced, a lot of complexity, a lot of richness into it, no flows. At 32 US dollar, I buy it, I put it a gold or even a double gold if it's possible. And that's how it works. So I'm just making this little video because I'm trying right now actually the remaining of the wine that I didn't have the chance to try yesterday, and just wanted to share with you my experience of being in the tasting and what are the feelings during the tasting. So just remember that you trust your guts, trust your taste, don't be influenced by the price, don't be influenced by the brand, don't be influenced actually by the grape variety sometimes. Or I mean, you have to know the grape variety, but don't go into those cliche like oh, Cabernet Sauvignon is like this or Shiraz is like this. Try to lower your expectation every time you taste, every time you go into a tasting. Lower your expectation, even if you're gonna come to the tasting maybe with some preconceived idea. I was writing this on my blog the other day about the 2017 Bordeaux. I was coming into that tasting with the preconceived idea that basically 2017 was not a great vintage, and basically most of the wine that I will try that day will not be very good. But I clear my mind from this preconceived idea, and I said, okay, we're gonna approach the tasting by having a clear mind and not think about anything else. Just taste the wine for what it is, trying to think about the quality price ratio, because this is very important. And at the end of the day, will I buy it? Will I not buy it? Will my consumer buy it? And will they enjoy it? Because at the end of the day, that's basically what it is. Wine is for enjoyment, and wine is for sharing with people. And so you don't want to actually buy a wine that you will not like. You will not buy a wine that will not give a good impression actually to your friends when you actually bring it to a party. So you want a wine actually that is worth for your money. And that's basically what me as a judge and as a sommelier and as a wine buyer and other people that are participating into the Asia International Wine Competition, that's what we do. As a professional, we judge the wine for what it is, the price quality ratio, and we basically like, okay, this is that price. Will I buy it? Will I not buy it? At this price, maybe not. Or at this price, oh yeah, fantastic. Yes, definitely. Especially if the price is low, because you have to think about the retail. I mean, especially right now, people don't have that much money. There is the COVID going on. There is a lot of things going on. There is a lot of employment going on. I mean, the world is under a huge crisis, a financial crisis, societal crisis, political crisis. I mean, you name it. There's a lot of crises going on around the world right now, and so a lot of people are in a position where they cannot necessarily afford, like super expensive wine. So that's basically what I'm doing today. I'm tasting wine and I'm judging them based on their quality price ratio and for what they are right now, and I really love it. I mean, you see, for example, I tasted a Cabernet Sauvignon that was about like $45 US dollar, and there is, as per my notes, there were not enough going on into this wine. It was good, but there were not enough going on actually for the 45 US dollar. So I will not buy it personally, and I will not necessarily recommend it. And I know it's a bit harsh actually for the winery, because the winemaker and the producer, they put a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of their personal time into trying to make a good wine. But I'm sorry to say, but we have to be honest as wine buyer. We have to be honest for the consumer, for the buyers. We have to be honest on the fact that why buy a wine that is not pleasing? Why buy a wine that we don't like? Especially if the price is high. I mean, there is no point. At the end of the day, you want to enjoy having a fantastic value for money, a wine that is super good for a good price. And that's what I care about. Even if I'm on the other side, even if I'm the wine buyer, the sommelier, or whatever you name is, the cavist, or whatever, working in the retail or whatever, even if I'm on the other side, I want you as a customer, I want you as my clients, as my customer, to be happy and to be able actually to enjoy the wine. So I want to give you a wine that will give you plenty of things for a very good price. And that has always been actually my motto, and that has always been my attitude actually towards wine buying. And I continue even 30 years later. I'm still passionate about what I do. I'm still passionate about the wine I buy, and I'm really honest about myself and what I do, and I'm really honest about the score that I give and how I buy wine. And I'm very honest actually with my customer, because at the end of the day, you want a customer to come back. You want to build that trust, that will have your customer to come back and say, hey, the wine that you gave me last time, it was really, really good. Do you have another recommendation, or can I buy another bottle of this wine, or if you have anything else. And I remember when I was in New York, I was saying that in my previous video, but I always say it because I think it's very important to build the trust with the clients and the customer. It's very important, especially if you're in a restaurant, or especially if you're more especially if you're in a retail. Open bottles from time to time. You will not lose money. I hear some people, they said, oh, if you open too many bottles, you're gonna lose some money because you're not gonna make the profit, you're not gonna make the margin, and it's wasting basically a few bottles for nothing. It's never wasting a few bottles for nothing. When you're in a retail, you open some bottles, you have people coming out in the afternoon tasting the wine. It's benefiting both. It's benefiting you and it's benefiting the customer, and it's 50-50 chance of win. It's basically either the customer will not like it, and maybe you will actually see that situation. But in most case scenario, due to the atmosphere, due to the people behind, due to the passion that you are giving into explaining the wine to the clients, at some point or another, you can be sure that the person is going to buy the wine. So do that too. Try to have your clients actually taste the wine. Try to explain the wine. Try to be as knowledgeable as much as you can, because it's very important for the consumer and the clients to trust you based on your knowledge, based on the taste of the wine that you bought, and based on the price that you are giving and offering them. Very, very important. So anyway, I wanted to end up this little video like I did yesterday with by saying Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you, and I hope to see you maybe next year. I hope everything will be better for you next year as well. I hope that's this whole situation resolved, and that we can all go back actually to normal life. So take care of yourself, and take care of your loved ones, and be safe, be strong, and continue to drink some wine, buy some booze. It's very important as well. It helps the economy and it helps the people. So think about this, and I'll see you next year. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you guys, and hope all is well for you. This one, I swallow it. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.